Okay, welcome back to the Law&Crime Network. My name is Bob Bianchi. I'll be taking it with you at 3 o'clock. We got a lot on the plate here, as you know, Dan Abrams production, and we're covering the hottest trials in the country, gavel to gavel. No network has so many trials of interest that are being covered by some of the best experts, legal experts in the country, as hosts as well as our guests. Guys, one of the cases we're covering, as you guys know, is the Timothy Jones case. This is just a sad and tragic case where he killed 5 of his children. There are those beautiful babies right there. He is claiming insanity, and it's been a very interesting case with regard to the expert testimony. We'll go over that a little bit later on. Closings are scheduled for 12:30. As also the McStay family murder case. Guys, this guy's a case that keeps going and going and going. Well, believe it or not, ultimately, we're going to wind up towards an end. We're on verdict watch with this case, and soon we will find out whether or not the defendant is proven guilty again of 5 family members brutally killed. Very, very difficult case. And then we're dealing with Brenda Delgado. We're in the state's case right now. We had openings earlier. You may remember this case. She is the alleged mastermind of the killing of the victim in this case. Her co-defendant, Christopher Love, was found guilty last year and received the death penalty for this case. This case, interesting low for Brenda, even though she was the organizer, is not a death penalty case because she fled to Mexico, and Mexico refused to extradite her back to the United States if she was facing a death penalty. So she got out from under that at least. And of course, the Kellen Winslow case, former NFL player, you see a picture of him right there. This has been a doozy of a case. 5 Jane Doe victims were collaborated into one case, if you will, and they've all testified. We are in the defense case right now, and there have been some interesting developments with respect to especially Jane Doe number 1 listed in the indictment, and some updates that we have from our very own Aaron Keller.
When he inserted his penis, it hurt so bad.
That is the voice, and these are the hands of Jane Doe number 1.
Yes, I kept on saying, ow, 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 because I don't know how he fit that thing in there.
The 54-year-old woman testified that she was a transient and was hitchhiking when a man approached her in his vehicle on March 17, 2018.
And then all of a sudden he goes, I'm not going to take you to Vulcan, I'm going to take you to the store and you.
She went to the police 4 days later, despite threats.
He's like, no way, I'll kill you.
When you told him to pull over and let you out at the hospital, did he say that he would kill you?
Yes, he said that he was going to get this done.
The account of Jane Doe number 1 led to 3 charges against Kellen Winslow II: kidnapping, forced rape, and forced oral sex. The defense reminded her that she previously identified one of the attorneys rather than the defendant as her attacker.
Is that still the person who raped you?
No, it's the one next to you, him.
In the prelim, you were pretty sure about it, right?
Just a moment.
She also failed to accurately describe the suspect's vehicle.
You were fairly positive it was a Jeep because you read J-E-E-P. Remember that? You told the police that. And you were positive that it was a 2-door. Do you remember that? Because you told that to the police.
Right.
And you were also positive that there were no back seats because you told that to the police also. You remember that?
Yes, then it must have been a Jeep. You're right.
Authorities found Winslow's DNA on Jane Doe number 1's pants. The defense says sex occurred, but says it was consensual. And the blood Jane Doe number 1 said resulted from the alleged rape?
Yes, I was ministered.
The blood that we're talking about here was from menstruating rather than being penetrated and assaulted, correct?
Yes, sir.
Still, this Jane Doe says the sex was not consensual. This is Aaron Keller for the Law&Crime Network.
All right, this has been a very interesting case. I've got my bestie, Gene Rossi, with me, 30 years with the DOJ. Gene, it's been a while. I wasn't here last week. To see your beautiful face warms my heart. Welcome.
And Linda Kenny Bodden was showing some shade on you.
Man, oh man, oh man. I can never trust you guys when I'm not in the house. Gene, give me an idea. You were following this case intimately. Yeah. I know you've got some strong feelings about it. Tell me what your thoughts are about how the prosecution's case is going. And I want you to specifically, if you can, at some point in time, direct yourself to this controversy or discussion we've been having about whether it was wise to bring all of these victims into one case.
Well, I know your views, and I have the utmost respect. I think, Bob, because each individual count is not strong by itself, they needed to merge 5 counts together. I call them spaghetti indictments, where if you have relatively weak counts, you put them together. Hopefully, when you throw the spaghetti against the wall, one strand will stick. Jane Doe 1, I got to tell you, I didn't see her demeanor and I couldn't see the juror's reaction, but from what I hear, there were several weaknesses in her testimony. The car that was identified allegedly, she identified the wrong person in court. It just didn't seem like her testimony was credible.
Gene, I think it was Jane Doe 1, I could be mistaken, but I think it is, whose daughter, or one of these victims' daughters, went and started a GoFundMe page on Facebook, which started some fireworks going off in the courtroom. Can you elucidate us as to what that's about and what impact, if any, that may have on this case?
Well, what happened was the daughter and the mother allegedly lived together for about 10 to 15 years. They were very close, but for some reason they became estranged. And the daughter didn't even know the mother was Jane Doe, didn't even know the mother was going to testify in his trial till she either saw it on television or read about it. So the prosecutors got a hold of this, or she called the prosecutors. She testified, I guess, on a Monday after she called the prosecutors the previous Thursday. And she started a fund page because she realized her mother has serious mental health issues. I don't know if that helps the government's case, because it just reinforces that the mother's testimony may be questionable. And they got the whole profit motive here.
Yeah, very, very interesting, Gene. This case is a doozy for sure. And again, that's going to be starting back up at 12:30. But now on the Brenda Delgado case, Gene, you know this is kind of a replay, if you will. We discussed extensively the case with Christopher Love, who was the person who actually executed Kendra Hatcher, and supposedly done at the behest of Brenda Delgado, who is now on trial. And so we've already gone through a very quick part of this case. We've done opening statements today, and the state's had a couple of witnesses. One of them is Jennifer Escobar, who's a friend of the defendant. Let's take a listen. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm being told that she actually just finished, so while we cue some of that up, Gene, we want to make sure that we have a nice package together to give to our audience so we can break this case down, because it is going so quickly for the prosecution. So in the meantime, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, Gene, so this witness is essentially saying that her friend, the victim in this case, went to her home when she was away to get a camera, and that she left this note. Powerful, not necessarily powerful that Brenda Delgado is the person who perpetrated it, but powerful in terms in the jury seeing a little heart and love you, sister girl, or whatever that comment was. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my God. It's not a home run, but it's a bunt signal. I got a comment on this, Bob. I forgot all about it. Would any judge before whom you were prosecuting a case allow a photo of the victim to be right next to the witness box?
You know, Gene, we talked about this before in the previous case, but this one seems a little maybe smaller than the other ones from the other trial. I'm not sure if that's just my imagination, but we have the ex-boyfriend on the stand, Gene, so we're going to go live to court. Okay, so just so our audience understands, Ricardo is the ex-boyfriend of the defendant Delgado and had been the current boyfriend of Brenda Hatcher when he was talking, Kendra Hatcher, sorry, when she was talking about this relationship that went on with the defendant for a period of time, on and off again. And then in June, he sends an email to her, to the defendant, indicating that the relationship was going very well. And the prosecutor just introduces a picture, as you see on your screen right now, of the victim and the individual, Ricardo, testifying right now. Gene, I guess we'll find out why it was he sent this, but certainly that is something the prosecution wants to say is motive evidence that got her agitated to the point of hiring somebody to kill her.
Oh, yes. And I got to go back to that salsa class. You know, the defendant was deeply in love with Ricardo, and she had a babe. She got pregnant, and she terminated the pregnancy. She wanted to get married to this man, and that is incredible motive. They broke up twice, and he found somebody else, and the defendant found out about it, obviously, and that's a classic motive. Deep categorical jealousy can motivate somebody to kill.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Gene Rossi, whether or not the prosecution's going to tie up this salsa class to show that she was actually stalking him and trying to put herself into a place where he would be. It may just be anecdotal evidence to explain the relationship. There may be something deeper to it. We'll certainly find out, because only here will we be handling this case gavel to gavel. We're going to do some business here at the Law&Crime Network, and I'll come back with more of this fascinating cases, the other cases we're covering, and G. Rossi. Stick with us.